Hi, we're Quaint and Curious Volumes. My name is James. Today I'm going to do a book review of a book that I read on my Kindle called God Bless John Wayne by Kinky Friedman. And this is a book that was selected by Randy Ray, the literate Texan, for his Lone Star Book Club. I suppose it also counts for PI July, or Private Investigator July, because it's a book about a private investigator. Now, some will stipulate that the investigator, the dick, needs to be paid for their services, and Kinky Friedman, the eponymous main character of this book. I guess he wouldn't be the eponymous named character of this book. That would be if John Wayne was the main character. Okay, so anyway, the private investigator in this book is an amateur, self-described. So a little bit of background. Kinky Friedman started his career as a singer and songwriter, kind of in a comedic country vein. Perhaps if you know of, I don't know, David Allan Coe, maybe that's maybe he wouldn't like that comparison. Maybe more of a John Prine, but very much based his personality on being one from Texas and two Jewish, and the name of his original band was Kinky Friedman and the Texas Jew Boys. And he has some very kind of, today you would definitely consider them politically incorrect songs about the Texas Jewish experience. But after recording a bunch of songs and albums, he started writing mystery novels, and they all. I shouldn't say all because I don't know if that's true. But there's a whole series of them, about 20 books, maybe 15 or 20, in this series, which have Kinky Friedman himself as the main character investigating crimes. And also the ancillary characters are actual people and friends of his. So in this book, and from my reading around on the internet, in other books, he has a sort of Dr. Watson character, a sidekick, who is a guy named Larry Ratso Sloman. And Larry Ratso Sloman, I think he's still alive, but is a real person also, and was a rock journalist. I remember if you watch like a lot of Bob Dylan documentaries, he's in them often as a talking head. He got his nickname from Joan Baez, so but he was around New York in the 60s, and and that's another weird thing for Kinky Friedman. His mystery stories are set in New York, and his character lives in a loft in Greenwich Village, and he has a big espresso machine, and he smokes cigars, and he drinks Jameson, and you know this because he will remind you of it every 5, 3, 2, pretty much on every page there will be a reference to him drinking an espresso, having some Jamesons, or lighting a cigar, or putting out his cigar, or getting another cigar. And also he has a cat, which the cat is a pretty good character. The cat, I don't think the cat has a name, but the cat is often looking at Kinky Friedman as he tries to solve a mystery and judging him. I mean, it's a cat. So whether you like this book or not is going to depend on how you feel about the character of Kinky Friedman, because a mystery is a mystery, and it's not you expect it's going to be wrapped up in a certain amount of time. There's going to be initial like plot twists and such, cliffhangers and whatnot, and a bunch of mucking about in the middle, going down blind alleys and following red herrings, etc. but you have to kind of enjoy the voice of the narrator. So if you don't get on with Kinky Friedman's narrative voice, you are not going to enjoy this book. But so let me maybe give you a little taste of this book. You know, I might have. I'll just pick a. Okay. That's not going to work. This is good content, right? This is why everyone should always be editing, right? Don't just turn it on. It's not. Let's have a cup of coffee and have a chat, right? No one wants that. It was raining cool cats and kosher hot dogs in the city that afternoon, and things weren't getting any sunnier as the cat looked over my shoulder at me, looking over my bank statement. I was keeping us in cigars and tuna by tackling a murder investigation every now and then, but the big clients didn't seem to be queuing up on the street outside my building, waiting for me to throw down the little black puppet head with the key to the front door wedged in his mouth. That's another thing, is that he doesn't have a buzzer, so he throws this. Anyway, so there you go. So apparently he does get paid. So this does count for PI July, even though he says he's an amateur. Maybe that just means he's not good at it. And he's really not that good at it. Like this mystery gets wrapped up. He could have not done anything at all. I don't know if that's a spoiler. Look, it's not a spoiler to say that the mystery gets solved, but the way that it gets solved, he basically didn't even need to do anything. He's like what is that famous Indiana Jones in the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Anyway, excuse me. In fact, things were so bad that the only person who'd sought my help recently in understanding an investigation for him had been Ratso. Ratso was my flamboyant flea market friend who sometimes served as a rather weather-beaten Dr. Watson to my postnasal Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, I should do this in a Texan accent. I'm not going to attempt that. Randy Ray might watch and get offended. In his role of Dr. Watson, he brought zero sophistication to the table. Any table. But he was loyal to a fault. I could probably look up what Kinky Friedman sounds like talking. I could do it. Anyway. So I did have fun reading this. I also, even though it's a short book, around the middle, I found myself getting impatient, which happens to me with just about every mystery novel that I read, that I start to get impatient when it becomes like the guy's just obviously following blind, going down blind alleys, and we know it's going to wrap up in a different way. And I'm like, why don't we just get on with it? And at a certain point, his various self-conscious eccentricities, his style, as it were, begins to wear out its welcome. Will I read another Kinky Friedman mystery? Probably, but I will not seek one out. So if I find one in the little free library, if I get one for $1 at a book sale, I'll probably pick it up and I might give it a try. And if you like mystery novels, if that excerpt that I read for you sounded like something you want more of, you're going to get 200 pages of exactly that. So there's a bunch of things that just kind of like go nowhere. Anyway, not a bad book. But in the ranking of Lone Star Book Club selections, this is so far firmly in last place. What's in first place? You've got Shakespeare in there, so it's hard to put anything. I think for sheer enjoyment, Lonesome Dove is in the lead. So you've got Lonesome Dove, you've got William Shakespeare, and you've got what was that crime novel? The Getaway. So yeah, The Getaway is going to be in third place, even though that was a great read. And this just wasn't up to the level of any of those. I don't think Kinky Friedman would, if he were still alive, would argue with that himself. But anyway, it was fun. If you have more of a tolerance for the structure of the classic mystery novel. You might like it more than me. But there you go. Thanks for watching. Bye.